Front and Center. Front and Center. A focus on important and significant developments affecting the lives of Filipinos, not only in the Philippines, but also those living and working around the world. Join us in Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Welcome to Front and Center, where we focus on developments in the Philippines, legislation that provides policies, and directions that strives to promote a better economy for the country. Issues that concern the welfare and well-being of every Filipino. All of these and more will be front and center. And you can watch this program on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, that's Radyo Pilipinas World Service. And you can hear this broadcast on our audio streaming over Evox PBS receiver app. Also on our shortwave broadcast through shortwave frequencies, that's 12.020 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.665 MHz. This is your host, Jerome Toledo. Let's begin Front and Center on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Before we go to our guests for today, let's talk about the current situation and latest developments in the Middle East, because the conflict in the Middle East has entered a critical new phase following major military operations involving the United States, the State of Israel, and Iran in February 28, 2026. And for the Philippines, this is not just about the distant geopolitical event, but it's also about domestic concern affecting millions of Filipinos or Filipino families and the local economy. So how does this conflict significantly affect Filipinos? So here's why it's affecting the Philippines and the Filipinos. So because as of March 2, 2026, folks, the Philippine government is on high alert due to the 2.5 million Filipinos currently living and working in the Middle East region. And President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. recently confirmed the first Filipino fatality in the current escalation, and that was Mary Ann De Vera, an overseas Filipino worker in Israel who has hit by debris while heading to a bomb shelter. And another one was injured recently in a missile attack in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. So that's an Iranian missile attack that bombed Dubai and injured by a Filipino worker there in Dubai. And the current repatriation status is that over 1,400 overseas Filipino workers or OFWs have officially requested to return home. And the Department of Migrant Workers and the Department of Foreign Affairs have activated the Alert Level 4, which means that alert level is a mandatory repatriation for the countries such as Iran, Iraq, and Syria, while Lebanon remains Alert Level 3, which is the voluntary repatriation. And as of today, March 5, there were several Filipinos who come from Israel have returned to the country. So, and we are expecting more OFWs to return in the Philippines in the next coming days as this Middle East conflict looms. And mass evacuation is currently difficult because many airports in the region are closed or designated as no-fly zones. But recent reports suggested that closing airspace becomes limited now to some certain areas. So we are expecting the airspace to be open in the next coming days as well. And the government is exploring land-based staging areas for safer exit routes. And as for now, the Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, has advised Filipino migrant workers to follow local government authorities as mass repatriation is not viably safe at this point. And as we heard in some international news, that the bombings there in Iran, in Israel, I'm sorry, the missile attacks in Israel, in Iran, and also in Lebanon are continuously happening. So that mass repatriation alone becomes a difficult situation or task to do. So that's why the Migrant Workers Department has suggested and advised to not push the mass repatriation at this time. Although we heard and we mentioned earlier that there are several Filipinos, not by the hundreds, but we can estimate that tens or even hundreds or Filipinos arrives here in the country, but the mass repatriation at this point is not possible. That's according to the Migrant Workers Department, and we are expecting several Filipinos will return to the country by this particular month, which is March. And also, in some other developments, but still regarding to the Middle East situation, as reported, 12 of local officials from the Bulacan province, including a mayor and 11 vice mayors, are currently stuck and stranded in Dubai airport in the United Arab Emirates due to flight cancellations caused by the conflict. And those officials traveled to Dubai on February 25, 2026, so days before the US and Israel attack on Iran. And those officials traveled to Dubai in their personal capacity. That's according to the Interior Secretary John B. Remulla. And he confirmed that the vice mayors had secured the necessary permits, or as we call it, the necessary travel authority from the Interior Department. And since no government funds were used, the trip was permitted, and or that trip in particular was permitted by the DILG, or the Interior Department. And the reports from the DILG provincial office indicates that 11 of those vice mayors, Bulacan vice mayors, have already managed to secure flight schedules to return to the Philippines. And on the other hand, the same department is currently verifying if that mayor who joined the group traveled without the required permit, and the group has not yet formally requested repatriation assistance from the Philippine government. And that mayor, when he arrives home, he might be facing an investigation because it's said that he joined those 11 vice mayors on a personal in a trip in Dubai in their personal capacity, and at the same time there is no known travel authorities. So there will be some sort of investigation and fact finding mission to determine whether that mayor traveled without authority or traveled abroad without due travel authority from the Interior Department. And the major military conflict erupted between the United States and Israel led to, as we know, because this attack has started February 28th, and that's going to March 1. So that led to the airspace closure because many countries in the region closed their airspace for safety as missiles and drones were launched. And I'm talking about the of the reason why those local officials were stuck in the Dubai airport there. And also the mass flight cancellation because the major carriers such as the Emirates, Etihad, Philippine Airlines, and even Cebu Pacific canceled dozens of flights between Manila and Dubai starting March 1. And on the because of that event, the limited operate or airport has implemented limited operations because some flights have begun to resume on a limited basis, and thousands of travelers remain caught in a massive backlog. So that's one of the effects of the Middle East conflict and that's among the Filipinos living and working abroad. Back here in the country, we can or we can feel the effect of the Middle East conflict because the Philippines, as we know, is a net oil importer. And because of that, it causes significant anxiety here in the country, the Philippines. And one of the major effects of that particular conflict is on our fuel price hikes because the Department of Energy or DOE and local oil companies are closely monitoring the Dubai crude because if the price of that the Dubai oil crude reaches $80 per barrel, the government is prepared to ask Congress for authority to reduce excise taxes on fuel to protect consumers, and the government will or is considering activating or reactivating the oil subsidy for transport sector when once the oil price or the Dubai crude oil price will reach $80 per barrel. So they are thinking of that measure so that the situation will be significantly reduced, or the situation that we might experience in the near future. And there is also a concern on food security, as the Department of Agriculture warned that prolonged conflict will drive up logistical costs, potentially making food more expensive due to higher transport and fertilizer costs. So that's two effects. So first one is the oil price hikes and also the food security that will be in or that will be compromised. And the third one is the government is leading by example, ordering agencies to set aircon thermostats to a minimum of 24 degrees Celsius. So this is one of the energy measures that the government will now be implementing, and that is to control the temp or the air conditioning or air conditioner temperature. So, and even considering a 4-day work week for government employees to save energy. And as we recall, Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps has declared that the Strait of Hormuz will be closed to all ships and warns that any vessel that may attempt to cross the strait will be sunken by its ships, creating a major disruption, particularly in the oil supply. So as the U.S. president said, the conflict may last 4 to 5 weeks. So we will have to wait and see if that commitment will be fulfilled, or it will lead into, as we know, protracted war. So the war between the United States, Israel, and Iran will continue, and as some analysts fear, the conflict will spread in some Middle Eastern countries. So we will have to wait and see because this times is very, very dangerous. So we will have to check of what's going to happen there. But as we know, and as we see, the effects are going to be felt in the next coming days because this oil prices drives up some commodity prices, and that might affect even the inflation here in the country. So as we know and as we heard, the inflation report will be released anytime soon. And also in the diplomatic stance regarding to the situation in the Middle East, the Philippines is maintaining a delicate balance, emphasizing the safety of its citizens and at the same time taking political sides. And as we know, Philippines is or will chair or lead the ASEAN summit or the ASEAN chairmanship in this year 2026. And the Philippines joined other ASEAN nations in calling for an immediate end to hostilities, urging all parties to return to diplomacy. That's one of the measures uh, to discuss the rest or the problem regarding the situation in the Middle East. And also, on our local security, the Philippine National Police has tightened security around the U.S., Israeli, and Iranian embassies here in the country, in the Philippines, as a precautionary measures against potential spillover protests or threats. So, in the end, what this means for every Filipino of the situation in the Middle East, and because we mentioned that there are 2.5 million Filipinos spread across the region, and the best advice given by the migrant workers to the Filipinos there is to shelter in place and stay in constant contact with the nearest Philippine embassy, and at the same time listen to local authorities advisories. And because the situation is fluid, because um, the war seems to not end, meaning the situation there in the Middle East changes by the hour. So we will have to check from time to time with the agencies concerned of how they are preparing for this and how they are planning to combat the effects of the looming crisis or oil crisis, and at the same time humanitarian crisis, because there will be more people that will be moved somewhere else just to avoid the conflict zones there in the Middle East. And we will have to jump to the topic for today, that is the impeachment trial of or the vice or impeachment trial of the vice president, which is Sara Duterte here in the Philippines. So we will have to talk to someone regarding the status of this one, because there was a claim by a lawmaker that states that the wealth of the current vice president jumps to 1,200%. So that's roughly from 18 million to 88 million pesos over the last 16 years. So that's the claim of a certain lawmaker. We will have to talk to him later in the program before we head into our break, because of that statement alone from the lawmaker, we will get some details regarding that. And also I will be asking his thoughts, because our guest for today is a lawyer and at the same time a lawmaker. And I will be asking his thoughts regarding the statement of his fellow lawmaker, Representative Rufus Rodriguez, that the vice president is not impeachable officer. He clarified that, as he held a cabinet position as education secretary. So we will have to speak with the lawmaker, the party list lawmaker from Bicol Saro Party List. So that's none other than Representative Terry Ridon. We will establish our contact with him when we come back here on Front and Center on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Stay tuned.
Mabilis ang trivia, dagdag talino. Heto na ang Dagling Kaalaman.
Catcalling. Bawal na. Alam ba ninyo na bawal na ang catcalling? Pagsipol, pambabastos, at sexual advances sa mga pampublikong lugar? Ayon sa Safe Spaces Act o Anti-Catcalling Law, ang mga ganitong kilos, kahit pa simpleng biro lang, ay may kaparusahan, multa, community service, at kahit pagkakakulong ang maaaring kaharapin ng lumabag. Tandaan, ang lansangan ay para sa lahat, hindi para bastusin ang mga kababaihan o sino man. Respeto ang puhunan, hindi pambabastos.
Kaunting kaalaman na malaking dagdag talino. Abangan muli ang susunod na Dagling Kaalaman.
Garantisadong solusyon at aksyon ang handog sa iyo ng bagong Pilipinas Presidential Action Center. Sundin lang ang mga sumusunod para makakuha ng appointment. Para sa wala pang eGov PH app account, panoorin ang video para malaman kung paano gumawa ng account. Kung meron ng account sa eGov PH app, mag-login dito. Saka hanapin ang online registration tab para sa bagong Pilipinas Presidential Action Center. Pindutin ito para makita ang available na government services. Piliin ang serbisyo na iyong kailangan mula sa listahan. I-upload ang requirements ng serbisyong kailangan mo. Pumili ng petsa at oras kung kailan nais pumunta sa Bagong Pilipinas Presidential Action Center. Isubmit na ang iyong application at bigyan ng pagkakataon na ma-review ang iyong isinumiting requirements. Hintayin ang QR code para sa kumpirmasyon ng iyong schedule. Makakatanggap ka ng text message para malaman kung naaprubahan ito. Sakaling hindi ito maaprubahan, makakatanggap ka rin ng text message para ipaalam ang kulang na requirements sa kasubukang mag-register ulit. Kung nakatanggap na ng kumpirmasyon, maaari nang pumunta sa Bagong Pilipinas Presidential Action Center sa napiling schedule, dala ang QR code at ang mga isinumiteng requirements. Huwag kalimutang dumating sa itinakdang araw at oras ng iyong appointment. Pinapaalala rin na siguruhing may kumpirmadong schedule bago pumunta sa Bagong Pilipinas Presidential Action Center para maiwasang magpabalik-balik. Simple at user-friendly ang pagpapa-appointment dito. Kaya wag nang mangamba dahil sa Bagong Pilipinas Presidential Action Center, tulong ay abot kamay na.
Welcome back here on Front and Center on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Still with me, Jerome Toledo. And okay, so we're now joined now by the party list lawmaker from Bicol Saro Party List, Representative Terry Ridon. Thank you so much for joining us in the program, Representative Ridon. Thank you. This is Jerome Toledo, Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so yeah, because I read a story regarding your statement on the wealth of the current Vice President Sara Duterte, because you said his wealth jumps to 1,200%. So that's roughly from 18 million to 88 million pesos over the last 16 years. So how did you come up to the statement that the current Vice President's assets and her wealth has increased? Representative Bridon?
No, I have to correct myself. The 1,200% increase should be based on the 2007 SALN, which started at around 7 million. If the starting point is 2008, it should be only around 380%. So I think that needs to be clarified first. But again, in the proceeding with the silent questions and unexplained wealth, House Committee on Justice should make a determination by comparing the most recent silent submission, it's the 2024 88 million net worth, against the starting SALN of the Vice President at 7 million, around 7 million in 2007. And the basis for determination of unexplained wealth would be the comparison of the stated net worth and the lawful income of a particular public official. So we would want to see whether the current SALN submission is actually based on the lawful income of the Vice President across at least 16 years of public service, and including the lawful incomes of her husband, Pat Scarfield.
Okay, so nonetheless, there was an increase in her wealth, Representative Ridon. But you mentioned that the increase was 308%. Is that correct? If I got it right.
From 2008 to 2024, it would be around 380%. From 2007 to 2024, it would be around 1,200%.
Oh, okay, that's clear. Okay, so also yesterday, Representative Ridon, when you and also the Justice Committee deliberate the substance of the impeachment complaint of the Vice President, you presented that from 2023 and 2024 her wealth jump. Also on SALN of 2008 and 2009 was presented as well. Okay. Does her cumulative official salary over the last 16 years account for a 70 million increase, or is there a significant gap that suggests outside sources, Representative?
I think even if you total the entirety of her salaries as a vice mayor and now as vice president, I don't think it would amount to its current status of 88 million net worth. No? So we will have to determine as a committee whether on top of the lawful income and salary, there are other incomes that can actually be declared or should have been declared by the Vice President or by her husband in the course of her tenure in various capacities.
Okay, and that would involve investigation and also a fact-finding mission to determine whether of the sources of wealth of Vice President. Is that correct, Representative?
That's correct, because I think we just have to be able to see on a year-to-year basis, a particular percentage on what is a reasonable increase in the net worth of public officials. No? So even if you peg it at a little bit higher value of around 5 to 7%, I think that amount will still not be reached across 16 years.
Okay. And I believe Representative Ridon, you mentioned about a nexus or a connection between a misuse of confidential funds and the net worth of the Vice President. So, I would like to confirm if do you still stand by this belief? Why is that?
Well, it's very important for the public to really show that there is a nexus between graft and corruption, unexplained wealth, and failure to disclose particular details in the SALN. No? So I think all of these amount to an impeachable offense because it is not just graft and corruption, it is also a betrayal of public trust. No? So I think by being able to show the year-to-year rise in net worth and the point that it might be a bit difficult to justify such increases, I think the basis for concluding that the Vice President should be impeached on unexplained wealth, SALN will really have an actual basis as we move along the impeachment process.
And that once you find out and gather more evidence and should this impeachment complaints be approved by the in the plenary and also eventually transmitted in the Senate, that those evidence will be used against her.
I think the entire body of evidence will be taken and will be collected by the House Committee on Justice as soon as we get into the hearing proper stage. No? So all of the personalities and the documents that have been mentioned in the complaints and during the entirety of the proceedings can in fact be requested or ordered delivered through subpoenas to the House Committee on Justice, including the bank accounts of the Vice President and everyone else that has related transactions with her, such as Mr. Man's cartel.
Okay. And also the husband of the Vice President will be included in that particular complaint or case. But I would like to clarify this, Representative Ridon. This particular case is not about politics or whatsoever or whatever it the public may think, but it is all about the transparency and accountability. Is that correct, Representative Ridon?
Well, impeachment proceedings are mainly an accountability mechanism. So the Vice President is being made to account for her misuse of confidential funds, the death threat against the President, the First Lady, and the former House Speaker, and her SALN issues. No? So I think she will have to be made to account on all of these things that she had done in the past.
Okay, that's clear. Okay, I would like to ask this particular issue, Representative Ridon, because recently Representative Rupos Rodriguez of Cagayan de Oro said that her position, the Vice President, Sara Duterte, is different from her position as Education Secretary. And he stated that he is somewhat exempted from the impeachment proceedings. As a lawyer, how do you see that kind of position?
Well, I think it first needs to be stated that Congressman Rodriguez, despite his vigorous defense of the Vice President, voted for substance yesterday. So that needs to be stated first. But secondly, on the actual question, I think the question on whether or not the person is impeachable is not based on her function as a cabinet secretary. The question is whether or not these acts had been undertaken during the tenure of an impeachable officer. So the question therefore is, were her acts during her time as a deputy secretary made during her tenure as vice president from 2022 to her particular date of resignation from the Department of Education? If the answer there is yes, I think that would still constitute as an impeachable offense.
And regardless of her position as vice president, her position as the Secretary of Education, nonetheless, she's a vice president, and under the Constitution, the vice president is one of the impeachable officers.
That is correct, which is why I think there's absolutely no basis for Congressman Rufus Rodriguez to basically argue that there should be a splitting of the personalities of the vice president as vice president and as a Department of Education secretary.
Okay. I would like to ask this before I let you go, Representative Ridon. What will be your exact role in this particular proceedings? As we know, the impeachment complaints against the vice president has been declared sufficient in substance. What will be your exact role in this proceeding?
No, my role has always been the same. My role is to sit there as a member of the House Committee on Justice. So we will deliberate as a member, we will vote as a member of the House Committee on Justice. I don't have a special role in the House Committee on Justice except to sit as a member.
All right. Okay, well said. All right. And with that, thank you so much for joining us in the program. Representative Terry Ridon of Bicol Saro Party List, and as he chairs the House Committee on Public Accounts. Good morning, Representative Ridon.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. All right. And with that, we now conclude this edition of Front and Center on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Together with our technical team headed by Mr. Milo Junella. On Warcast, Hero Lucero, and audio streaming, Justine Osias. This is your host, Jerome Toledo. Until next time, mabuhay.
You have just heard and watched Front and Center. Front and Center. Join us again for another edition here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Front and Center.